I'm going to be introducing our topic right now for the first panel discussion of the day. This is about reimagining the power of TV advertising. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic that's going to be discussed right now is about reimagining the power of TV advertising. Just a while back, Shashi sir spoke about cracking the code, understanding and targeting TV viewers. He shared some interesting insights and also kind of predicted the future based on his experience, and we truly, truly value that. And I'm sure that whatever sir said has a lot to do in terms of what's really going to happen going forward. Now we are going to be talking, it's going to be a panel full of esteemed speakers with a lot of knowledge who come with a pool of knowledge, a wealth of knowledge indeed, and I'm sure that's going to add a lot of value to today's summit. So ladies and gentlemen, this is about reimagining the power of TV advertising. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be first introducing our honorable moderator, and then I'm going to be introducing our speakers. So to moderate this session, and what I'll request everybody is that once all the introductions are done, I'll request all of you to come together on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, to moderate this session, we have today Tarandeep Singh Sekhon, Chief Business Officer from KidZania, India. And he's going to be joined on stage by the likes of Janardan Pandey, Founder, Nett Value Media and Director, Metier Media, Subhamay Mukhopadhyay, Managing Partner, T&Pm GroupM, Divya Dixit, Chief Growth Officer, One Health Assist, and Shrutish, Maharaj, Network Revenue Head, Branded Content and IP Business, Z Media Corporation Limited. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you all to pump up the energy and clap in the loudest way possible for all our esteemed speakers over here as they make their way on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, the first panel discussion of this year's IWMBuzz TV Summit 2025. Welcome to all of you. I think Taran sir sits over here and you all can sit as per your convenience, yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set, the panel is ready. We're all waiting for you all to clap and loudly appreciate once again, please. Yes, thank you. Thank you. We have the mics in place. I'll give you a mic as well. And over to you, Taran sir. And you have the timer for your reference over here. Can we update the timer, please, so that it's easier for our speakers?
Thank you so much for the lovely introduction. Good morning, everyone. A warm welcome again to the 4th edition of IWMBuzz TV Summit. I think we've had a fantastic start. There were a lot of insights shared by Shashi sir, which will eventually, build upon during this course of discussion. So my name is Tarandeep. I'm the Chief Business Officer for KidZania. And when the team approached me about, enabling this panel discussion today, which is about reimagining the power of TV advertising. So this question is like a rhetorical question, if I may put it. We are reimagining the power. Shashi sir spoke about, all the brands, all the stories amongst the years being that is TV dying, is TV dying. But we all know over the years, TV has been the cornerstone of marketing industry. Of course, there have been changes, there have been paradigm shifts. Technology came in, digital services came in, but with the power of digital targeting, a lot of viewer engagement, what we've seen is TV has been transforming itself and adapting to the evolving needs of digital landscape. Now, joining me today here are experts which have combined over 100 years of WorkX, if I can put it. And the best part is we have someone from the brand side. We have 2 media houses who are planners. They've planned TV campaigns successfully for multiple brands over the course of years. And we have also someone from the TV network. So it's a very healthy mix of panel experts. My objective today is to understand from them how the landscape has moved, the challenges, the opportunities which are there in this evolving industry, and most importantly, for the audience. So there would be marketers, there would be brand custodians, and of course, salesmen. So what we would like to understand is build on your experience, tap into your wealth of knowledge, and understand the best practices which will help us harness the power of TV. So we can plan our campaigns much more effectively and better. So with the context set, let me open the discussion. The first question is for everyone, and it's the most popular saying is TV dying. Okay, so we all know that people keep on asking year on year, is TV dying? And TV keeps bouncing back. If TV was a person, I'm sure it would get the Lifetime Achievement Award in the resilience category. It always comes back. So let me start with Divya. We can go left to right. If you can share your thoughts, so I'll phrase it in two parts. The rhetorical question is TV dying, and how we can effectively use TV with its reach and ROI. So on to you, Divya.
Hi, morning guys. I hope you all had coffee. So TV is dying is, like you said, a very rhetorical question, even all the time that I was scaling up Z5 and Alt Balaji. TV is not dying. TV is still showing growth, 8 to 10%. Will it get its market share eaten into? Of course. It is happening already, right? 62% of the advertising share now goes to digital. But I think TV still has the power to bounce back because the penetration of TV is very strong, right? So advertisers like me still like to use it to create an awareness in top funnel. For example, I'm going to now go to the market with a very new brand, One Health Assist, which is going to be one of the biggest things you're going to see in health and wellness. And the moment I, for example, choose to get onto TV on a high impact property, I'm making sure that hopefully my product is going to be seen by millions of people. How many of them will actually convert is a conversation we need to have with TV advertisers, and that's the conversation I think TV needs to sort of address and convert for us. And that's where then advertisers start putting money into digital, saying at least मुझे यहाँ से ROI आता है. At least मैं measure कर पाता हूँ. At least मुझे पता चलता है that the money that I put in, and you know, an average marketer is pushed. I mean, today I'm a growth head, I have a marketing head, tomorrow she's going to piece a media plan together. I am obviously going to sit with her and ask her to justify her choices. She has to show me ROI, and that's when a marketer, when pushed, says, अच्छा ये top funnel create करते हैं और digital पे डाल के ROI create करते हैं, because then I'm able to A, find a balance, and B, in my analysis and presentation to the management, also justify my approach, right? So there's also a human element to it. Let's be very, very conscious about it. Sorry, what was your second question?
It's a follow-up. You've rightly put it. You know, as a brand custodian, you're looking at television. Of course, it is there.
Yeah.
But you will again link it to ROI.
Correct.
Okay, and I think where both of you can dive in is answering her question. So she is, let's say, principally okay. She understands the power of television. Okay, but the question comes back to showing its effectiveness in terms of ROI and impact. And both of you have been navigating brands over the years. You've seen the transition, the changes happening in the TV industry. So what would be your take on it?
Hi, good morning. So first I'll just say a few words on the first statement. The question is that, is the TV dying or it is growing? So we have to look at the history of it. There was text, there was audio, and there was photograph. And came the TV, which became AV, combined of all that, and it's an experience. Now, we are talking about a medium in India. Out of 28 crore household, approximately 21 to 22 crores household have television connection. Almost 90 crore people in our country are having access to the TV being. It's a mammoth medium. So to start with, we cannot compare any other media as on the date with the television in terms of its reach and efficiency. Okay. Now, why we are questioning the existence or the efficiency of television is because of growing digital dominance. Now we have to understand that digital is not a substitute or it's not an alternative to television. It's a different technology-led platform. Now I cannot watch TV on my mobile phone. Okay. Now second question is nobody, maybe somebody maybe few people will buy a mobile phone for being on Facebook, I don't know, or just watching YouTube, I don't know. But buying house and the few household, and then it's like washing machine and gas, chula and all that, and comes the television. It's so essential. So people buy television to watch music, news, other entertainment program. It is so essential. So there is an experience, okay, involved into that. So that is setting the agenda. So if you can interject and I will go on.
If you don't mind. See, TV is not about TV, right? TV is now becoming an instrument, like a laptop, mobile, or TV is. What we're actually debating is the power of broadcast versus the power of digital. In my mind, connected TV is digital, right? So TV, you understand what I'm saying, right? It's the power of broadcast versus digital. Broadcast, in my mind, creates a brilliant top funnel, specifically if I take impact properties. But let's not forget there is a certain cost attached to it, and like Shashi said in his addressing note as well, digital seems very efficient at this point of time because A, it's cheaper, B, I'm able to measure the efficacy. So it's a marketer's dilemma how to balance both, right? You want both the things. Nobody is denying the importance. This is not about broadcast versus digital. It's about how do you balance and how does TV evolve itself to content and possibly provide to a marketer the things that a digital platform can. I think that would be a better debate to have. I feel that.
Yeah. So I was coming to that. I was setting, because that was his first question. So I was just setting the agenda of how, what is television. Now two is, see, now as a marketer or be in an agency or be in a client side, we look at ROI because that is a most important and only function that we look at is ROI. Now, what is difficult to measure in TV is the real-time ROI, because there's so much of, we talk about reach and recall and affinity and everything, it does everything, but obviously the television will not give you real-time ROI that only digital can give, okay. Now there is a perceptible value of every kind of communication that we do, okay. Now, television has been delivering ROI since so many years. That is because so many brands have been made on the television. It was the media which made brands. But I agree to you on this point that real-time calculation of ROI, wherein I can say I spent this quarter 20 CR and I have got this much of business, that is not going to be possible on television. But the qualitatively, when we talk about brand building, because the brand building itself brings in ROI. So many a time when we talk to the clients, there are two phases of ROI. One is that you have to expose your brand, build your brand so that your digital function gives you better ROI. Okay, so that is 100% correct. Now two is that every medium will evolve with the invention of new technologies. So will TV. Maybe after 20-25 years, not maybe, it's going to be certain that today we are talking about linear TV and connected TV. Now connected TV is small but is going to grow with the more people coming to prosperity level and everything there, and with the better digital distribution, better bandwidth, better streaming, more and more household will get onto the internet TV. Now what I see personally is that some point of time the linear TV will fade away and the entire television will be internet driven. So this debate of linear TV to CTV versus CTV won't be there. It will be television and the digital. Okay. So I think with this thought, I will request my colleague to. Yeah.
Hello. Good morning. Thank you. I think it's a nice build. First and foremost, I think it's an oversimplification of the statement that television is dying. I think it's a myth in my mind. I think everybody will agree on that point. I will actually take a couple of steps back to address this particular question. Everything starts with the consumer at the end of the day, right? Consumer was there 2 decades back, they will be there 2 decades down the line. They will evolve, their consumption pattern on media will also change over a period of time with the technology, right? How they are consuming media, I think that is a central question. Over a period of time, we have seen that consumer are, toying between these 2 medium of television and digital. Now the question is that how to balance this? I think that is a pertinent question. And rightfully, both of you mentioned that it starts with the objective. If we expect television to play the role of the bottom funnel, I think it's a unfair ask in my mind, right? Does it mean that television doesn't have a role in the overall mix? Definitely it has. Because if we see from the funnel standpoint, and the funnels are blurring, we know some of the brands which are focusing more on lower funnel than the upper funnel. But that doesn't mean that upper funnel is not important. We have seen over a period of time with the life stage of the brand and the particular category they're operating, your top funnel will at least increase your efficiency of the bottom funnel to a large extent. Now the challenge happens is that where there is no single measurement. And that's the reason while it's an early stage, but there are certain steps taken towards the direction with the advanced analytics. Couple of brands, I have experienced that understanding what is the role of the multiple medium being used on 2 KPIs ultimately you are chasing. One is the business KPI, another is the brand KPI, right? Technology today helps to analyze how this media mix is helping either on these 2 KPIs, right? Now, some of the brand will have more skew towards the upper funnel as an objective. Some of the brand will have, skew towards the lower funnel. And that's the way I think as a marketer, as an agency, we have to evolve ourselves. We have to use our judgment and experience to balance these 2. Otherwise, I don't think this is not a versus conversation. It's an and conversation. It's television and digital will bring that multiplier effect to the brand to unfold and unlock a lot of opportunities.
Good morning. So I have been with this industry, TV, for the last 20 years. All I've done in my life is TV. So I can say with a lot of conviction, TV is not dying. It is sort of evolving, transforming. Look, if you look at the life cycle, there have things which have happened in TV at different point in time. Genres have changed roles. If we see, a few years back, specialty channels and niche channels were doing quite well, right? All of them are nowhere now. Owing to a lot of things, advent of, FTA, demonetization took a lot of toll on a lot of niche channels, redefining content strategy, OTT, all of that. But at the end of the day, it is impacting the top lines and the GRPs and the reach overall. If you take away all those channels which have shut down from the equations. But what you also see, regionals have become very, very strong, right? They have a role to play. FTA, on the other hand, is growing and growing big time. I've worked with pay TV, I worked with news, I worked with FTA also. When I was leading Dangal, my friend here and his fraternity, I used to have a very healthy debate. At one end, you are saying, the prices of mobile phones are dropping. Rather, we would say there are cheaper options available in terms of affordability and more people willing to buy and afford. At the same time, you say that, suppose if I were to take example of Dangal because that's what I was representing. So it's sort of cheap GRPs, right? At the end of the day, what we need to look at that a GRP is a GRP. You are wanting to reach the same audience. I mean, even if you were to watch a Star Plus, you are at or on Dangal. At the end of the day, the product, what the primary decision is whether or not I want to be on that platform. Otherwise, citing that example, what I mean to summarize as that it's more like a rhetoric that TV is dying, and more than a reason, it's rhetoric. I would like to acknowledge that digital is doing fairly well and exceedingly well, but that doesn't mean that in isolation TV has to die for digital to do well, right?
Yeah. Thank you. I think we've had some very insightful observations, and I think we've also kind of set the tone, because here is the classic example what you see. Of course, there are brand custodians who are looking at certain parameters, and television continues to evolve itself. There is a lot of technology which has come in, which we'll touch shortly. But what I have seen is, in the advertising landscape, I consider television to be a cockroach. So it's literally, been there and been part of all the evolutions. So it's been there. There are sparrows today, we hardly see them in Bombay. I don't want to name other advertising mediums, but television has been like the cockroach. All evolutions, it's come up with the different technologies. We'll talk about connected television, probably linear television, how it has evolved. My follow-up question is something which we've already touched, and we can again start with Divya. And I know it's not a debate between digital and TV. Both have their own pros. But you as a brand custodian have been continuously contemplating, how much monies do I park in television depending basis the objective, how do I navigate on the digital side. And what I have seen also as a marketer, lines are very blurring today. So I've seen some agencies come and explaining me there is a digital TV media and then the number stats. So if you could share some insights or some examples for budding marketers here, how they can use it effectively to plan how to leverage both these medias, or is it a versus or situation?
Okay. Let me talk about how we are, see, this is like I said, this is a very, again, a subjective question. And each brand going through its current cycle of evolution will decide which medium are they chasing. So for example, if it's an established brand like a Z5 that I was leading, we really didn't need TV so much. What we wanted was conversions because Z5 was already established, we'd already spoken about it, we'd already done enough noise around it, and what then I was chasing was immediate conversions, right? However, for a new brand like One Health Assist, which is going to be in health and wellness category, it's an extremely competitive category with Farm Easy, Healthify Me, Practo, everybody's sitting on that category already, right? And we taking a larger preventive to solutions punt now. I need to spend a certain amount of money educating the consumer. First of all, ye hai kya, right? Then the fact that the consumer needs to trust me, right? Because it's health, it's wellness. The consumer's not going to come to you. Entertainment's much easier, I feel, because I've done that. Telecom's also easier. I've done that with Tata Docomo. It was, we banged out a product pay per second and, it went well. But with something like health, I need to win the consumer trust. Now, to win the consumer trust, I need to put out a narrative in the market, right? Now, here comes the television challenge. The moment I want to put a narrative in the market, I can't do a narrative in 10 seconds, guys. I need to do a 1-minute narrative. The consumer needs to see a journey. And that's where the TV and the digital meet each other. So I will do multiple things like putting out my narratives on digital with various connected TV, with the OTT, with various other platforms. And then to sort of drive the multiplier effect, I will pick up other channels. I will pick up channels like television, where I will do shots of 10, 15, 20 seconds, because possibly as a marketing budget, that's what I can afford. I will possibly go heavy on outdoor. I would possibly go heavy on print. So I think the problem for a marketer becomes balancing the budget depending on the brand evolution cycle where you are at this point of time. I would say if you're an established brand and you're not somebody like a HUL, which is very, very heavily dependent on minute by minute to be seen because your distribution network is working frantically, digital is a great way to go. I have personally done that across 2 huge brands, whether it was Z5 and Alt, and we've had fantastic ROIs. We used to do TV, but lesser. for me, in the mix, TV was lower. But for One Health Assist, when I go to the market, TV is going to be a substantial chunk of the play that I do.
So just to follow up on that, so again, both of you with media planning backgrounds, and of course, you on the TV network side. So all brand marketers are either on the fence, and we for a fact know that advertising has increased on television year on year in terms of absolute number. At the same time, we hear about numbers that digital is taking a larger share of the overall plan. So what would be your recommendations for a brand custodian between this debate? How much should you spend on TV versus this? I know there is no simple answer, but what I'm expecting is if you could give some benchmarks or some parameters which one should consider to make the most of television advertising.
Hi. So while first round we spoke about how big and how strong the television is, now she rightly said, when we come to spending, allocating budgets, television is hugely expensive. And I agree with that 1 minute advertising on television is a dream now. We can't think beyond 20, maximum 30 seconds. That is one. Two, television, now I'm talking about challenges. Since we are reimagining and since there's a change scenario, we must look upon the other side. See, television does not differentiate between a Mercedes advertising and a pencil advertising. It will cost you same money. Okay. Now, whether you need to reach 2 states or 10 states, if you talk about when HSM market leaves south and east markets behind, it will cost you the same money. So it does not differentiate, so there is a less of leverage. Also, so I have a digital agency, I have a traditional agency. In digital, you have got a lot of freedom, and each category like housing loan, credit card, debit, within BFSI, there are 10 products, and all 10 products, the costings are different. So it differentiates, it gives you a lot of freedom to pick and choose, target geographically, demographically, interest-wise. So that kind of maneuverability is, you cannot get in television. So television has to somewhere, and on the, what is the most complex issue today is that if you want to advertise your product on television, you have to take linear TV. So you cost 1,000 rupees. I'm just saying it's no channel, very few channels are there which comes 1,000 rupees per 10 seconds. Then there is a SD feed, add on 500 rupees. Then there is a now CTV, add on 500 rupees. Now you are just doubling the cost for the same TV audience that we are talking about, 90 crores and 21 crores household. So the television company, that television service provider networks, they must look at the practicalities of advertisers also. Unless the business side is able to select, adopt to and afford it, they will not be here. Even if I love television, but so many brands, at the first meeting we say, let's go digital. So your strengths are one thing, but people coming and are able to use the other thing. So there's a lot of, so one day I feel that there should not be a separate costing for CTV feed, because it's just, people are migrating from linear to, from the cable it went to DTH, there was no separate costing. Now from DTH, it is coming through internet. Now why should I pay more money? It's not logical. And with the growing of CTV, if these two things are not being merged, this will pose a great challenge to television networks. So that is where we are now. Television monopoly has ended. There is a digital which offers lot of freedom. With 1 lakh, with 20 lakhs, with 1 crore. Television needs more monies. In spite of having regional television, but again, they're not so strong in most of the market. So that is where we'll look at.
I agree with what he says. There's a standing joke among marketers which says, 1 crore rupiya nahi hai to TV mat sochna. It's a standing joke. I'm just telling you, that's how marketer communities jokes. Hai paise 1 crore to soch TV varna bhul ja. I mean, that's how expensive you guys have become.
Subhamay, if you could share, again, Janardan spoke about the experiences. Now he's speaking from both the sides. So he has an agency, digital as well as TV. Okay, but we cannot argue that the kind of impact which a television ad gives in today is unmatchable. Of course, other considerations being there, you should have the money. But we still remember, I still remember, looking forward to which is the new Zuzu ad, which is going to come, or even Cred for that matter. Okay, they can break it in digital. Again, this is all subjective, but they chose, one is, of course, they had the deep pockets, but for a fact, those who have the money, they know how to utilize television. So what are the parameters, which should be important when you're considering to make the best of television in today's landscape?
See, I think there is no one-size-fits-all solution when it comes to this particular question. Again, I will go back to the point of the planning principle hasn't changed, whether it's TV, digital, or any other medium, right? What has changed is that, as I told you, that the way consumers are consuming media and the way we are, as a marketeer, expecting our return or the KPIs to be measured, right? When it comes to, and that differs by category to category, life stage of the brand, and within the same category, two different brands will also have a different approach. A challenger brand will have a different approach compared to a leader brand in the category. If I have a mass reach, mass presence, my penetration is high, and I beg to differ on the point that television is a costlier medium. I think the way we are evaluating, if I have a mass media presence, the CPR of television is cheaper than digital, even today. But yes, if I am targeting a selected market, then digital has an upper hand because television will not allow me to go in a specific geography. That's the challenge I have. Having said that, yes, there are certain measurement which is lacking when it comes to the screen agnostic planning. And that's the reason I think the point what you are making is that, do I have to add elements like CTV on top of my television channel, FTA, etc.? Those days are gone when we look at linear TV separately, OTT or the OLV separately, and the CTV separately. It's consumer consuming your content on whatever screen they are watching. It doesn't matter whether they are watching my ad on mobile or on CTV or on the digital. I have to reach out to them. That's my whole objective. And that's the way we have evolved over a period of time, moving from television advertising or planning to audiovisual planning. Now, there are measurement challenge, I agree on that part, but these are the steps understanding the consumer the way they are evolving. And when we talk that one single currency, I think that's the way to measure. One finer attribute we have to add in the current scenario is the attention planning, which is coming up in a big way. And there are multiple studies which talks about that. Yes, digital has an upper edge in terms of the precise targeting, measurement, so on and so forth. But when it comes to the attention planning, especially with the younger generation, we know how, deficit of attention they have. And therefore, which medium is effective? The lowest reach medium today, which is cinema, has the highest attention. So quality of viewing and the recall of the ad is another parameter we need to consider when we are making. So these are all the qualitative factor, and that's the reason I'm saying it's not a very simplistic answer. Based on my objective, I will go, no two brand will have the same answer from my end.
No, one point I disagree with. What TV people need to understand is, by being so high on the rates, you're creating an entry barrier. The zamana of startups spending crazy amount of money, the two things that you name, Cred and Voda, they had big pockets. We all know how much money Cred has blown, right? And we all know where it stands today. That's not the point. Today, startups have changed their approach. Today, organizations have changed their approach, and it flows from top to bottom, right? Right from investors, and I sit in investor meeting, the conversation is no longer about tum kitna scale up karoge. The conversation is about boss मैं कितने साल में exit करूँगा और 2.5 पे exit मारूँगा कि नहीं. And when that happens, then from top to bottom, you're trying to figure out how to maximize the ROI, right? And when the things have changed, then TV 2.0 also need to understand that we really respect and value what broadcast. And let me remove the word TV, because at the end of the day, TV is just a device. The broadcast networks need to understand you need to stop creating entry barriers because the ecosystem is changing. The consumers are migrating. There's a different approach for marketers and CEOs and investors. The entire industry ecosystem is moving somewhere else, right? That's the conversation we need to have.
So completely agree. So sorry, I just add one point on this one. Completely agree, and that's the reason I'm telling you is that it depends on the life stage of the brand. And I've seen personally a startup brand, a brand entering into the category, and the way they have evolved over a period of time. It based on my ambition. When I started, I will definitely target few cities, few market, and as you rightly mentioned, television as an entry barrier. I will not touch television, and that's the way we have to change our mix. And when the ambition has changed, we can see ample example, all the digital first brand after certain point of time when their ambition is high, they don't shy away to come on television because television unlock that opportunity for the mass reach. So that's the reason I'm saying, based on my need, my objective, I will opt for TV or not. And choice is ours. If I have an entry barrier, I will not touch the television.
Sorry, would broadcast not want to pick up the smaller businesses? Would they not? Today, in the ecosystem I sit in, I work with multiple partners, right? And everybody is looking at startup packages because there is a certain narrative which is out in the market that you have to go and grab them from the very beginning. And this debate we are having because we're now questioning, does TV 2.0 need to evaluate or stick to its older values? Because that's what happens when you create a barrier. Right?
So I'll take all the 2-3 questions you've kind of put there. First of all, I would like to reiterate with a lot of confidence and conviction, there is no medium which brings better trust, awareness and reach than TV. Also considering his point, each campaign and marketer has a different objective. What I believe with there is a lot of templatized selling and buying which is happening, and it's case to case basis. First of all, as far as entry barrier is concerned, what is being sold is what is being bought. If a marketeer is just running behind the quantitative thing, if a big boss is selling, it is selling. If Salman Khan is charging that much amount for an episode, the broadcaster will not sell at loss, right? Eventually, it's a chicken and egg story, first of all. What I also believe, there's a qualitative parameter. TV still is, I don't know how much it is relevant in this part of the country, but maybe down south and maybe suburban rural India, TV is still that bonding time, that 1 hour or half an hour when family sits together and watches TV, which is not the case with digital or any other. I mean, even if you minus the cleaner shows like Panchayat and all, which you're watching on Amazon Prime or maybe some shows on Sony Live, you have a lot of content which you would not be very comfortable, at least most of us will not be comfortable with watching with our parents and siblings, you know. So I believe that while TV still has a very pivotal role to play, we should not put TV against digital. Like he said, there are campaign objectives. But yes, I do agree with Divya partially. When we need to kind of realign our content strategy, content structure, we need to figure out a few things that are not working anymore, you know. TV as a medium, and that's for all broadcasters to take notice and take cognizance and act upon it. But I would strongly say that in terms of awareness and reach, there is no other medium that works better than TV still. There are categories. Okay, COVID has also, see, there was a point in time when you used to say print is dying. Print is still very much doing about 15-16%. In terms of absolute number, it's still a drop. But the overall market has also grown. In terms of print, COVID has played a huge role. You know, even I was a very, you know, I would not start my day without touching a newspaper. And with all the digital consumption since 2012-13, right? But a physical feel of a newspaper was a must for me. COVID has changed that drastically, right? But in case of TV, I believe it will evolve. Things will happen. See, what we see, there's definitely a challenge. There's definitely a challenge. We need to regroup and see in terms of strategy, what's working, in terms of content, in terms of distribution, all of that. But having said that, what Divya is saying in terms of cost, deterrent, it's not that we want to be expensive. I mean, it's just the, you know, cost that we bear in terms of content acquisition. Primary example is sports. You know, now that Jio and, Disney have come together.
So,
Hello, just one point. See, while we deliberate on these points, it's not that, again I'm saying, nowhere the digital is different, TV is different. What I mean to say that, see, television itself, see the two things which my co-panelists made out is television itself used to advertise heavily on print. Now they aren't advertising. So when there is a new media, they will always use the previous medium which is in the leadership position to build the brand. Now, use one of the top categories to advertise in print, because I have been print seller 20 years back or something, and I'm still involved in the print research last 1.5 decade. Now television is own medium, they do cross-channel promotions. Same way, all the digital brands today are made on television, and still they will do that. No, the strength of television is unquestionable. But when we look at future and we look at the reality, obviously, since there is a digital, no company will have a separate budgeting for digital. So the advertising and promotions budget is the same. So obviously, if a certain media which is more adoptable, affordable, targetable, will eat away the revenues of television, and it is happening. Look at the news television cost. Is it after its peak, it is coming down.
Sure.
It's coming down from the number 1 channel to the number 10th channel, it is coming down. So that is the challenge. So what we were doing, I was saying, is the listing the challenges, and it's inevitable. Now, Star Plus cannot give me only UP market, obviously. But we have to know the challenge. There may be a few years back, there was a company called Amagi, they started selling, and we bought a lot amount of money. We invested for many brands, only Madhya Pradesh, only UP, only Delhi. Maybe certain kind of, these kind of technological innovations or invention, advancement will address that. So when we are discussing a TV as a whole industry, we need to look at the flaws also. And there will be flaws, and digital also. So we know that there are bots. Now look at the best of the social media handle when we do analysis. But again, there are results also. Like Kotak 811, the entire, they opened so many accounts using only digital media that advertise on television, build the brand, but they went on. So it is a basic, what rightly said is and for a marketer or a planner, it is very challenging, and we have to evaluate at all point of time where to put in the money.
Also, to add to what Sir is saying, there are a few avenues which digital is using beautifully. For example, if we take social commerce, Zepto this year in ad revenue is then about 1,000 crores. It's way more than a Times Internet does, which has been slogging for so many years, still not profitable. Apart from search, where is that money coming from? Marketers are actually shifting the budgets to the more palpable sales promotion thing. So if you give that discount, see, at the end of the day, like he spoke about CPM and all, see, at the end of the day, आपको conversion चाहिए. तो हम ये hope कर रहे हैं, we are hoping that इस पैसे में ये conversion मेरे को मिलेगा. वहाँ पर वो straight away conversion है ना, उसको मैं 10 रुपए discount दूंगा, उसने 3 की जगह 4 को खरीद लिए. So that is one challenge we are not even seeing that is coming, that 1,000 crores is shifting from this pie.
So let me just add on to what you said. As a marketer, because he said कि budget अलग नहीं होता है, actually आज की rate में जब हम plan कर रहे होते हैं, we say ये ATL का budget है, ये digital का budget है. Now we're within this, let's figure out मैं डिजिटल ब्रांडिंग पे कितना डालूंगी और मैं डिजिटल परफॉर्मेंस पे कितना डालूंगी, और मैं ये परफॉर्मेंस का ये ROI है, ब्रांड का ये ROI है, एटलीस्ट डिजिटल में इमीडिएट मेजरमेंट है, ठीक है. In the rest, I absolutely stand by the fact that print and TV help me create top funnel, which helps me optimize my digital far superior, right? But let's please understand that there is a clear demarcation of budget in media, with a marketer saying this is ATL, this is digital, let's talk now. And this is how conversations now begin. Let's be cognizant of these things.
So I absolutely love this. I think the title of this panel discussion should have had a prefix, which is a face-off, reimagining the power of television advertising. If I have to, just share a small anecdote, it's like, digital versus television, it's a never-ending debate. But for me, it's like whether you want to buy the latest new tech Innova versus a Tesla. Okay, both will get you to the same place, but of course one has lot more whistles, and you all can decide, which one has lot more whistles. I would like to again thank the panel for doing this face-off, and there are a lot of insights, for us to have, but I think marketers' role is not easy. Okay, there is a lot of slicing, a lot of data crunching. Eventually, also there is at times a gut, which used to be there much more resonation, but right now, all marketers are absolutely planning with ROI. So that is going to remain. I don't have time, but if there are any quick questions, please raise your hand and we can send the mic across. Yes, quickly you could just introduce yourself and please select the panelist whom you want to ask your question.
I believe you have a question. Please, I will introduce yourself and ask whom you want to ask the question.
Good morning to the panel. My name is Rushil Srivastava. So, my question to Tarandeep sir and Janardan sir is that the main highlighted part of this panel discussion was about the branding. So, what if someone from I took a premium subscription in the OTT news channels, then what will be the you mentioned that media promoted so many brands through advertisement, which are very irrelevant, and there are no more creative ideas in the advertisement section right nowadays. So what if I took a premium subscription on OTT news to avoid these ads? So how will it affect your media?
So you'll have to come up with your question again. Are you trying to understand if you've taken subscription on a news channel?
Yes.
And then as an advertiser,
Yes,
how do I search? How do I plan my campaign?
Yes, sir.
Because the television won't, you're anyways not on television watching my ads.
Yes, sir.
So Janardan, I would like you to take it first. So I think it's a consumption habit which is there, of course, today. A very hypothetical case, but a true case. So for example, I watch cricket day in, day out, but it's either on OTT or YouTube. So he's like, should I advertise on a typical TV channel where probably a Tarandeep is never even, watching it?
Is it the whether I'm watching the content on television or OTT?
Yes.
And therefore how to target that? Sorry,
Yes.
sir.
So somehow I didn't get the. Hello? Yeah. So you want to create a news platform?
No, let me redefine my question.
You just be louder a little bit.
Okay. So my question is that when we watch the news channels through televisions, there are innumerous of ads in between which are quite irritating and irrelevant sometimes. And most of the ads have no creative ideas. But what if I take a premium subscription in OTT news channels where the subscription also gives me a virtue that I can avoid, see the whole news without any ad interruptions?
Correct.
So,
Yeah, correct.
so how will it affect your industry?
Yeah, so it is impacting basically so you must have heard in previously there was to be a cap on the time of that, free commercial time that we talk about, advertising time, so that 5 minutes maximum, but it never happened. Obviously that is one challenge which news genre is having. That so in linear TV era, once you are watching news on the cable network or through DTH, you surf the channel. You have 1, 2, 3, and then a person, if there is an advertising, he knows that for 5 minutes it will be ads, so he goes to the next news channel. And the challenge which television cannot answer to is like you have to live with it. Advertisers need to live with it. How we pay for the program GRP, we pay for the content GRP for advertising, but we lose that. Okay, from advertiser point of view I'm talking about. So that's a challenge, there is no answer to that. Now, because of that only, when there is an option of watching news on the app where there is no advertising, okay, people started shifting, people who never wanted to. Now, before I say that, remember that we all love ads, and you mentioned one thing, that the creatives are not good. So that's the challenge for advertisers and creative agencies to handle, because advertising itself is a content. People want to see ads because they want to know, they want to be informed, they want to compare, they want to buy, they want to consider. So advertising itself is a content. Any newspaper and a channel with a healthy amount of good advertising attracts viewers. Okay, so that's not a flaw, that's a strength. But with the bad creatives, we get upset, we don't want to watch, or with the lack of time, we don't want to see much of ads. So either you surf or you shift to the app-based. Now there also, if you see the latest trend, because India people don't want to pay. I don't want to watch ads, but I don't want to pay also. Okay. Now within the app also, now there is advertising and there is no advertising. Now even in GEC, if you watch Sony Live, so there is a premium version where in Tarak Mehta you will not get ads, and there is a one normal version where you will see a lot of ads. So to just sum it up, there is no answer to this. This will evolve and settle down somewhere. Maybe in future there will be a set of people who will not want to watch ads. They will have the premium subscription. Now you have to target them through digital or something else, that they may be playing golf, they may be driving, so put outdoor hoardings, they may be listening to podcasts to advertise there. There will always be some people who cannot be targeted in advertising. You cannot reach everybody. You have to reach 50-60% people. So it's a challenge. There is no fit answer to this. This will evolve, and we just need to live with it. Yeah.
Like
Hope this answers. Yeah.
Sorry, like you said, India is a very value conscious market. We don't want to see ads maybe, but we don't want to pay also. So if you see even Netflix and Amazon, which are largely premium and paid platforms, have been forced to adopt a hybrid model in India. So that's where,
Let me answer that for you. That's
Sure.
because of the rising costs of content. They're clamping down on that. And they are forced to do that because of, again, the ROI piece.
No, but
right?
Divya, so I'm not debating what you are trying to say, but I am saying it's not by choice. Like if you see now that there are not many takers, BCCI will be forced. That's what my opinion. It will be forced to reduce the acquisition price, because now there is only one taker. If they don't buy, what's the price? The price on paper is as good as nothing, right? So here, it's not my choice. I mean, at the end of the day, no one wants to be expensive, but if I can't control cost, I can't control cost. It's business at the end of the day. So I agree with you, but partially.
Just to add, I think since you mentioned Amazon and life is such a funny one, we all talk about the evolution of digital, and we all know that how it is throwing challenge in front of us. Yesterday only I read one article which talking about Amazon is launching a linear TV in Austria and Germany, which are far more digitally evolved country. What is the challenge? People are fed up of searching for the content on the OTT platform. So consumer evolves. The point here is that nothing here will stay forever. Today we are finding this situation, tomorrow you will find another situation, and we need to evolve. We need to evolve with the consumer and looking for what is the brand trying to achieve.
With one liner, I agree 100% with him. This search is exciting and search is painful. Okay, so this search thing will always change the behavior. Okay, so one day if we have to search out of 2000 content live channels, we want to have a fixed list. When in all the streaming, everything is available on the audio music platform, but you want to have a fixed list. So it's evolving. We have to play as it goes and keep learning. That is the one thing that is continuous, is keep learning and live by the data and directions that research gives us.
But anyway, sorry, wasn't this debate more about, it's from the very beginning that it's not TV versus digital. This is about how TV needs to evolve, because see, fact of the matter is, and let's all accept it, the TV share is getting eaten into, right? And why it's getting eaten into and how it claims its supremacy back is the discussion. Digital initially started as an add-on medium. I remember when I was marketing Indian Idol in Sony Entertainment Television. I'm talking 2006. My brand manager walked up to me and said, Divya, mujhe bas please 5 lakh de do just to try out digital. This is the 2006 conversation versus a split in the media budget right now saying, bhaiya 50% digital ka, baki ki baat karo. Right? So let's address this and say how TV can actually A, get the cost barrier down, B, while I absolutely love and I'm speaking like a marketer, right? While I absolutely love and appreciate the top funnel that you create for my brand, my marketing manager is still answerable to me for the money she or he has spent, and I need to showcase to the board the ROI and the subscriptions and the deliveries and blah, blah, blah. How do we address it with television? How impact properties become a little cheaper to advertise in, and specifically in sports, now that there is a monopoly. So these are questions that need to be answered not only from a broadcast perspective, but also from a content perspective, right? And which is why when I started my stint in digital content, Z5, the cost of content used to be obnoxious. It came to a point where movie deals were being done for 200 and 250 crores, which turned out to be absolute duds. And the OTT platforms lost money bleeding. And that's when a evolution happened and OTT platforms started saying, nahi, pehle aap release karke aao, uske baad baat karna humse, you know? So these are things which are going to happen. But every medium has to figure out life. Digital, right? No unifying currency. I have to believe what the platform is saying. There is no sanctity on cost of content, and every medium is evolving. So why can't TV evolve is my question.
I agree with most of what she is saying. The only thing, when they earmark 50%, it's very subjective. Some people say 50% for digital and rest distributed all across. Some people say 60% for television. He'll concur with what I am trying to say. So it's very brand to brand. But what she is saying is correct.
Absolutely. I think it will be a never-ending debate. I want to once again thank our incredible panelists for this face-off. I think I have picked a lot from the discussion. Sorry for making the next panelist wait. So thank you again. Thank you for being a lovely audience. Panelists are available. If you have any questions, you can meet up with them later. Thank you so much. Have a lovely day of learning. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I request all of you to continue the appreciation as I request them to wait, and I'll call upon stage Siddharth Laik, founder and editor-in-chief, IWMBuzz Media, to please kindly do the honors and give away the token of appreciation. Please give a huge round of applause to Mr. Siddharth Laik as well, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. We had a very powerful and engaging discussion in terms of reimagining the future of TV advertising, how we can actually realize its true potential, and I believe with this proactive conversation we have actually realized that. So kudos and a huge thanks to all the speakers for taking out time and being with us over here. Once all the token of appreciations are given, we will be doing a group photo with all of them together on stage to celebrate the moment. Thank you. Can I request all of you to please kindly come forward and join for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Calls for a moment, calls for appreciation. Everybody, please, if I may request, loudest amount of appreciation and cheers. Thank you.